human being who committed atrocious crimes against humanity, gassing women and children, innocent people. Now all of a sudden he's a statesman, and does it seem to you as if the Obama administration sort of endorses that?
Well, as I wrote last week, Greg, what is going on in Syria can be expressed in 6 words. Assad deployed chemical weapons and won. I mean, if you think about it, just a year ago or less, we were talking about the Assad regime must go, that he was going to be deposed. And instead, we now have Assad solidified in power because he deployed chemical weapons. All anybody's talking about now is let's get rid of chemical weapons. And because of Secretary Kerry's gaffe about we'd be satisfied with Assad giving up his chemical weapons. Now he's saying, oh, okay, I'll give up my chemical weapons. I don't believe, to get to the heart of your question, I don't believe Russia is going to take any action against Assad whatsoever. I think that they seized upon Kerry's gaffe. And what Putin is trying to do, quite frankly, is ensure that Assad stays in power. I think he is working with Iran and Syria to create what amounts to a Shia axis, basically to counter what they see as the U.S.-influenced Sunni-dominated nations of Saudi Arabia and others.
Is it accidental, sort of extemporaneous foreign policy by President Obama, and has the president really lost sight, assuming he ever had sight, of the Middle Eastern foreign policy goals, which especially means stopping Iran from gaining nuclear weapons?
Yeah, stop Iran from gaining nuclear weapons, secure Israel, and combat terrorism. Those are the 3 goals, none of which would have been advanced by a nuclear strike on Syria, and certainly none of which are advanced by outsourcing our diplomacy to Vladimir Putin. What's happened is that we don't have a strategy, as you say. The Obama administration improvises, but they don't have a script. And we're lurching from one crisis to another. And if you look at this, the fulcrum of this entire issue is energy and oil. And instead of talking about taking down pressure on Iran, or caving to Russia and their demands, we should be talking about increasing the pressure. And the U.S. has the capacity to do that. We're the world's largest oil consumer and on the way to being the biggest producer.
Doesn't Russia enormously benefit from instability in oil prices? And to that extent, isn't Putin sort of using the unscrupulous KGB tactics that he did in his former life?
Absolutely. I mean, this is no secret. Putin made it quite clear that the Russian economy was going to be based on extracting more oil and gas out of the ground. That was going to be the base of their economy. And what has he done? He's used gas to blackmail Europe, former Soviet satellite countries in Eastern Europe. He has made no secret of the fact that he wants to dominate the world or become much stronger in the world with oil as a key component of that. And if he creates or helps create the Shia axis, think about it. You'll have Russia and Iran potentially combined with Iraq. I mean, there's real danger that Iraq could fall under the influence of this group of nations. And then if Saudi Arabia should fall or be overtaken, that really puts Putin in an extremely dangerous position vis-a-vis the Western world.
Lee, I got a quick one here because I'm out of time. Give me a 20-second answer. Are you convinced that that region of the world doesn't take this president seriously and will not take the U.S. seriously until Obama leaves office?
Well, I would hope that isn't the case. Certainly, if you look at what's happening, well, what I think is that the Obama administration has an anti-American energy strategy. They'd rather our oil from Canada be burned in China, where they have lax emission standards, than in the U.S., where we have rigorous environmental standards. They're not working with states to drill offshore. They're not prepared to open the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I would tell Putin and I would tell Rouhani this coming week in New York, look, guys, if you don't play ball, if you don't stop aiding Assad, we're going to open the spigot on the SPR, and we're going to lower world oil prices, and we're going to back that up with a absolutely. We've got 700 million barrels in there,
which is
absolutely, and it's a very
Yeah, I mean, it's an
I was going to say it's a very
insane-
different scenario than when we conceived it in the 70s. We're now on the verge of becoming, if Obama doesn't stop it, the world's largest energy producer. We have nearly 1 trillion barrels of oil worth of coal. And we have the technology. Ohio State University and Dr. Fan, with some funding from the U.S. Department of Energy, but also the private sector, has developed a clean coal technology that actually works. And we're not putting everything we can into scaling that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And we have this, the Democrats talk about soft power. And here's the ultimate soft power, the American energy leverage. And we need to tell the Russians...
We could be the biggest energy producer in the world. We could be self-sufficient. We could be enormously powerful in that regime. Lee Speakerman, out of time. We'll save it for another occasion. Good to see you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Greg. Thank you.